Today we're test driving the all-new Mitsubishi Outlander plug-in hybrid, and we're going to do a battery economy test to see how well it performs. As you can see, I have almost no charge left on my battery, and that's why we're at the charge station to fill it back up. So we're going to fill our battery back up and see how much range we actually get, and after that we'll take it out on the road to see how many kilometers we actually get from a full charge. Also, some of you might be wondering, what if while I'm charging my vehicle, someone discharges it or removes the charge cable? Well, you'll notice that if the car locks, like if you lock the car, let's hit this button here, then it locks the charge port as well, so no one can unplug it while it's charging. One thing that takes some getting used to is the multiple doors that we have for the charge port. So we have one door here and another door here. So sometimes some people might accidentally close this while that door is still open, but it's actually a safety thing. If there weren't these two doors here, then you'd probably accidentally have one of the doors exposed to rain or other elements that might create issues with charging in the future. So it's actually a good feature to have two doors, and yeah, it takes some getting used to, like I mentioned, but once you're used to it, it's pretty straightforward. The Outlander also warns you when you start the vehicle and it's connected to a charge port, just so you don't accidentally drive away. Now that we have a full charge, you'll notice our range is now 53 kilometers. Mitsubishi's website says you can expect around 22 miles or 34 kilometers of all-electric driving. The numbers that they provide might be a conservative estimate because they realize that this is an SUV product and they expect you to have 3 or 4 other passengers with you while you drive. As for me, I'm just a solo occupant during my tests, which is why my numbers are higher than their estimates. My guess is we're probably going to get around 40 to 45 kilometers of all-electric driving range. Also, you'll notice that my trip meter is reset and they both read 0. So let's get this test started. So we're at the halfway mark of our initially stated fuel range. You'll notice that we have a remaining fuel range of 24 kilometers. You'll also notice that so far we've driven a total of 32 kilometers. Now that we're at the end of our test, you'll notice that we have 1 kilometer of battery range left. The reason I left it at this 1 kilometer instead of completely depleting it to 0 kilometers is just so that you know that I didn't touch the gasoline engine at all during this test. You'll notice that our battery is also almost completely depleted, and let's see how many kilometers we've driven on this full charge. So you'll notice that we've done a total of 49.2 kilometers on pure electric driving. My driving conditions have been pretty basic. I haven't used the air conditioning, the heating, or the sound system at all during this test. And I've driven, like I mentioned, with just myself as a solo occupant in the vehicle. I haven't had any passengers or any luggage on me, so this is something that might impact the battery economy that you get during your drive. But regardless, it was great to see that I was able to achieve a lot higher than Mitsubishi's stated 34 kilometers of battery range. You'll notice I've had it on Eco mode and EV mode the whole time. The Eco mode can be activated by this button here, and the EV mode is activated through this button here. There's also this button here which essentially charges your vehicle without using a charge port. And how it does that is the gasoline engine kicks in and charges your battery while you're not even connected. So essentially you can get those EV driving miles or kilometers without having to plug in. And this is great, especially if you don't have access to a charge port, or if you're stuck in traffic, you can use that time to kind of charge your battery as you drive or as you're stopped in traffic. You'll also notice here that we have two things that look like paddle shifters. These aren't paddle shifters, they are actually to adjust the level of regenerative braking that you want to apply during your drive. So if you toggle this, it essentially reduces the amount of regenerative braking that is applied when you let go of the accelerator. And if you toggle this, it'll increase the amount of regenerative braking that's applied. Now let's do the math on how much it would cost us to drive the Outlander PHEV on a regular basis completely on the battery. So we know that the Outlander's battery capacity is 12 kilowatt hours. Our local off-peak electricity rates are 12 cents per kilowatt hour. So 12 cents per kilowatt hour multiplied by 12 kilowatt hours, which is the battery capacity of the Outlander PHEV, gives us a total of $1.44 Canadian. That means a full charge on the Outlander PHEV would cost us $1.44. Now let's take a similarly sized SUV product like the Toyota RAV4. You can watch my RAV4 fuel economy review video on my channel. In that video, I mentioned that the RAV4 costs us 11 cents per kilometer Canadian to drive. So if you take that 11 cents per kilometer and multiply by the 50 kilometers of driving that we did in this Outlander, we would get a total of $5.50 Canadian. That means to do the 50 kilometer commute that we did would cost us $5.50 Canadian. If you commute daily to work and you do around 50 kilometers, that's a total of 1,100 kilometers over the span of 22 working days in that month. Let's do the math on the PHEV over these 1,100 kilometers. We mentioned to drive the 50 kilometers a day in the Outlander PHEV would cost us $1.44. So $1.44 multiplied by the number of working days, which is 22 days, gives us $31.68. That means if you were to do 50 kilometers a day over 22 working days, you would spend $31.68 on the Outlander PHEV. Now let's do the RAV4. To drive the RAV4 over 50 kilometers costs us $5.50. And if you multiply that $5.50 over 22 working days, you would spend $121 Canadian. Many offices and retail spaces offer free charging. You could possibly be paying nothing for the 50 kilometers of driving. In fact, many people rely on having their car charged at work. So now that we've depleted our battery, we're going to charge it back up at this retail charging station. So what do you think of the Outlander PHEV? Is this something that you would drive? How far is your workplace commute, and would a vehicle like this make sense? Also, don't forget to like our video and subscribe to our channel. We'll keep bringing you more great fuel economy content